Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Command Bridge. These are your captains speaking. Today, we'll be talking about our expectations for the series Andor coming out on Disney Plus on September the 31st. First of all, I think I'm really excited for it.
Yep.
It's going to be insane.
The trailer does a nice job of hyping the series up because I wasn't too excited about it at
too
first.
Much.
Yeah, that trailer is
True.
definitely hype. It looks like it's going to be very true to the original trilogy, which I like.
Mm-hmm.
I think it definitely needs to be. And I think
True to both the original trilogy and Rogue One as well, because I'm sure there's going to be so much tie-in to Cassian's story in Rogue One.
Yeah.
And something that I actually thought was really funny is part of the trailer. They're in like a scrapyard, but as much as we Fallen Order fans would really want that to be Braca, it is not. It is a different planet.
See, that's actually one of the things I had. So I have a few like little notes, and that image, which I think we'll put in, of the scrapyard, I immediately thought Fallen Order. We might see Cal Kestis. It's in that same timeline. I thought so.
But there's a Lego set. Let me see what the actual name is. Ambush on Ferrix. So Ferrix is going to be the planet that we see, I think, named as the scrapyard.
I'm all for new planets. At least it means we're not going back to Tatooine.
Exactly. Don't underestimate their ability to go back to Tatooine.
Oh no! How much do we want to bet right now that they do end up going back to Tatooine? Like, there will be an episode.
I think there'll be either a mention or an episode there.
At least a mention.
There's a mention. Yeah, there's a mention.
At least a mention.
I was really hoping when I first thought, like, man, right time, could be right place.
Mm-hmm.
We could get Cal Kestis. And there have been a lot of people talking about a live-action Fallen Order show. I think it's going to happen.
Monaghan supposedly signed on for it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
that would be nice.
We could be seeing live action Cal Kestis, which I am so down for.
So
I would not complain.
I sent this picture in the Discord. It's taking a while to send, but it is of one of my screenshots, and I can just show it on the screen if it's not gonna send, which I don't. Discord's being wonky about the images going through, but maybe it's full progress bar. They were sending earlier, but I took a few notes / screenshots of the trailer, and I looked at this planet, and it's a mining planet. Well, the only mining planet that I know of is Kessel.
Yeah.
So could this be Kessel?
That's not
I
Kessel.
don't think it is, because Kessel has a very distinct color palette to it. It was
that's
which may
the
have
only
been
thing
done
that
just
got
for
me.
Solo. But no, it is very distinct yellows and blues, and this is very much muted grays.
Yeah, there's not enough yellow.
Interesting. I'm interested to see how color is going to play into this, because the trailer itself, it's gorgeous, but it's a lot of grays and browns.
And also,
and greens.
if you remember, Disney also owns Marvel, which Thor: Love and Thunder just recently released, and that played a lot on color.
Yeah.
And I thought that was very interesting. While the movie itself was not the greatest, it still played on color very heavily.
I like
introduce different themes.
I thought it was great.
Mm-hmm. But I think the color in this one is going to be interesting, because from what we can tell from the trailer alone, is there's definitely lots of pops of red and yellow, which will be, it's classic Star Wars, but I am kind of hoping for a little bit more, because Rogue One was very much blues and grays, but they were very well done, very intense blues and grays, which it makes sense because the cinematographer for it was the same cinematographer that did The Batman, which came out in March.
And something also about that scene, we see a young Cassian, I believe, is what we see. And this is
it'll be right here somewhere.
It's definitely been there for a while, right? Which leads me to believe that this is probably either Republic or mainly Separatist mining territory. Or what had originally been Separatist mining territory.
Yeah, because that's young. That's a young Andor, which is by the time of Rogue One. So 1 through 6, Luke starts at 19 in Episode 4, and then, because Rogue One leads up into Episode 4, literally like exactly into Episode 4. So that means Andor at this time, because that is 0 BBY, is Episode 4. So,
and Cassian was 32 in Rogue One, I believe, because Rogue One has like the oldest main characters of any of the Star Wars stuff. I believe he's 32. I think Jen is in her 20s. So he's been around for a while by the time of Rogue One.
Yeah. So this would have to be, I'm assuming, in his teens, anywhere from 10 to 16, 17, which is 20-something odd years, which would be like the fall of the Republic, essentially. Well, no.
Yeah.
Because that leads me perfectly into my next image, which should be sending over now so y'all can see it. It'll be, for those of you watching, I'll put it somewhere either in this black area or in the middle somewhere. You'll see it. It's this image in the trailer of the Galactic Senate. And it just sent, by the way.
Yeah.
That is straight out of Episode 3.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That is straight out of Episode 3. And there's that middle conference area thing. So,
it has
with that being said,
Empire symbol.
We're right at the fall of Republic, rise of the Empire. Do we see Palpatine in Andor?
Ooh.
Oh. That's a good call.
That's immediately
I think we will. You know what else I think we're going to see? Order 66. Again, because Dave Filoni cannot keep his hands off of Order 66.
Okay.
He's going to make us watch it again.
Think about y'all look at this. I don't think it's a if we see Palpatine. It's when we see Palpatine. Because look down at you see the center platform in the image?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Look down on the floor. You see that symbol?
It's the Imperial logo.
Imperial logo.
Yes, the Imperial logo. Yes,
props to the art team.
Logo.
That looks gorgeous.
That looks cool.
Oh, definitely.
And you see, if you look, and this might be nitpicking or going too deep, but we're doing a deep dive. This is what it is called in our expectations. If you zoom in and enhance, you see in that little middle area, it looks like almost like a crescent moon in that middle platform. You can see blue. A blue person standing.
Oh yes, it's the guy.
That might be the Emperor's assistant guy.
Whatever
speaking
his
for
name
the
is,
Galactic.
yes.
Yeah, I don't remember his name, but he might be speaking for the Galactic.
The
First Galactic Empire, and then we see all the people in the room sitting around. I'm trying to look. If y'all see me looking, I'm just looking at the image for the viewers, by the way, which again will be on the screen. But you see that floating platform?
Hang on
That's floating toward the middle.
The floating one? Yeah.
Floating. They photoshopped the people out of there because why would that platform be moving with no one in there?
Yeah.
And it's got a spotlight on it.
Yep.
Yeah.
And there's no one in there.
Be...
That makes no sense. There's an important character in that Senate pod.
Bail Organa.
Bail Organa, maybe even Leia Organa.
That's my bet.
Definitely Padme.
Little Leia.
It's definitely Padme, 100%.
Padme died.
I guarantee it.
We can see we can see even little Leia. Well, I don't know. I don't know the exact time. I need a timeline, but
I don't know because this
it
may
should be close.
We may get to see little Leia again, which would make me very, very happy.
Which is why they probably put Kenobi first, because this might introduce some characters that we've already seen, like they did in Mandalorian and Book of Boba Fett. So that
Yes.
same idea.
True.
Also, if you notice, there is a lot of stuff that has purposely been hidden in this. It looks like the people on the main platform have been photoshopped out, except for that little blue guy, which I think may be the Senate guy. But like the people in the stands are very vague. And then what's got me convinced is that pod is empty but has a spotlight on it. That is like the same thing that happened with the Spider-Man thing.
Yeah.
How everybody found out there were
my
going to be
gosh.
3 of them because they were jumping, and the villain wasn't jumping for that Spider-Man. He was jumping for something else.
And he gets thrown back.
Yeah, so that is someone important, or else why would they have photoshopped them out?
Yeah.
So
and I don't understand why they felt like, why include the scene in the first place?
Well, because they need to build some hype, but they can't give away all
Yeah.
the secrets. I think it's very ingenious because then we can go and like, was that even mentioned in the breakdown that you watched, Holden? How the seat was empty?
No.
We might be onto something new here, folks. Follow us at the command
You heard it
bridge.
here first.
We have
You heard it.
insider information.
We're taking it.
This is our information.
Hold on. Let me
That's
look
another
at
thing.
I don't think we're running with. I think that's solid. That's not just like a theory. That's solid,
It's gotta be
sufficient
something.
evidence.
Yeah, that's solid.
That's
thought.
got to be something. That's got to be something. There's something up there.
Which, speaking of the trailer and ambiguity, I think this is one of the best trailers we've had in a while, ambiguity-wise. Trailers lately have gotten so bad about showing you everything that happens, and quite frankly, it's become really, really annoying. But Star Wars has gotten really good lately about making sure that their trailers are very, very ambiguous, and you don't really know what's going on. Which Andor, you get kind of an idea, you get the vibe of it, but you don't really know exactly
everything.
what the story's going to be, which is fantastic.
I think I think that's a pretty solid theory to lay down. I'm surprised no one's addressed this yet.
Yeah,
those
I don't
seats
see
are
anybody.
empty. That's huge because that means they've been taken out of that image. You don't have a empty Senate seat floating with a spotlight on it. That is some important character that they wanted to remove. Intentionally.
That's definitely an important character.
And they haven't said anything about Bail Organa returning, about Jimmy Smits returning, but to be fair, they have said barely anything about Andor to begin with.
At all,
We practically had to beg for these 2 trailers, so I don't know how much
they did
we're gonna get.
They did have stuff at Comic-Con.
Yeah, they did.
Or was it... What was
Diego. It was San Diego Comic-Con.
That's it.
So my final 2 kind of takeaways from the trailer, which are out there, they're not deep dives, but we got Saw Gerrera, of course.
Oh my gosh.
I was expecting that. And then we got what looks to me to be Mon Mothma.
It is her. It's Genevieve O'Reilly, I believe. They have confirmed that Mon Mothma is back.
So I think this is going to be a building of the rebellion kind of thing. It says, like, even in the trailer, it says this is the beginning or whatever of the fight. And I'm going to watch it one more time to make sure we don't miss anything. And anything like I could play it. Let's see, how can I do this? Because I want us all to be able to like watch it and break down the trailer live, but also
we also get B2 EMO.
The droid, yeah. Is there any way you could stream? I'm trying to think of a way we could all watch this live and break it down like on the podcast.
Yeah.
That we could put up so that everyone could see it. Like, YouTube breakdowns. We might do that, if everybody has time, we might do that after as just like a YouTube video, not necessarily for the podcast. So if you want to maybe see that, if we have enough time to do that, that may be coming out on YouTube. We might be doing a breakdown of the trailer out on YouTube, because it's a little bit too hard to do on the podcast logistically. So we're on YouTube at the Command Bridge, if you're listening on Spotify. So that may be coming.
It'll definitely be the beginning of the rebellion, especially because
and we're doing watch parties.
Yes.
We're doing watch
We've
parties.
seen young Cassian in the trailer, and he says in Rogue One, I've been in this fight since I was 6 years old. So it's starting at the very, very beginning
That is true.
of the rebellion.
That is
At the
true.
very, very beginning of his life. So I get the feeling we're going to see a lot of young Cassian as well as older, more grown-up Cassian, which will be very, very interesting to see how they handle that.
Another
Which means
thing
we get
is
more of the in-between.
what
between
planet
the
do
Republic.
Yeah,
and the
that'd be
Rebellion.
nice. My question is, now that I'm like kind of rewatching it as we're talking here, is what is that planet that they start off on? And I'll just I'm sure
the one that's like filmed in the
mountains.
Scottish Highlands.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's one question I have. I know we probably couldn't answer it just from theories, because it's probably a new planet, which I'm all for.
I'm very
then we
excited
have
about.
I think this show is going to be visually stunning. I think this is going to be one of the best looking
yeah.
Star Wars things in a long time. Especially just that scene where, again, I'll attach another picture of it. The Star Destroyer flies low altitude above the thing. That is just amazing.
That's beautiful.
They were always too
beautiful.
afraid to show that scale because they hadn't really figured it out. Even in, I think, Rogue One or I think maybe Rogue One. They are too afraid. Like, when the Starfighter comes down and, like, crashes into what I think is Cloud City. It's in a Star Wars clip somewhere. Again, if I can find it, I'll attach it. The editors were like, yeah, we were rushed for time, so this isn't to scale. Like, this isn't what it would be like. And that the Star Destroyer is way too big, and it's not actually in the right place, and it should, like, there's a bunch of stuff that, so really, they've always been a little too scared to show the scale, but now that they have Disney on their side, they can show this scale, and that's one of the beautiful things about Disney buying it, is because now they have money to work with.
Oh, yes.
Now they have money. But
Yeah.
that's the thing. The entirety of Empire Strikes Back was like funded by George Lucas alone.
Yeah, but even then, there's limits to the technology. Now,
It
the
is one
limits
of the
are
best
almost
Star
fully
Wars
lifted.
movies.
yeah. So we
Because
do
it's
see little
fantastic.
Cassian, and then there's that thing again. There's a droid. Okay, so I'm watching this Senate clip in full right now instead of just a little clip. So again, we see Cassian climbing into this little thing, and then it cuts to this Galactic Senate clip. That thing is moving, and there's no one in it. That's huge. That's definitely big. We've seen it before happen. That is a big tell of something. He's talking to a person. Wait! That might have been... I can't... Well, this is adult Cassian. I'm trying to see. There's what looks like stormtroopers in the trailer. Maybe clone troopers,
Clones.
but I'm not too sure.
People have looked at it, I believe, and I believe people have said that they are clones.
They are clones.
Gives me, once again, we're going to see Order 66 again, but I think we're going to see it from a different perspective, which will be really, really interesting.
So
Because I don't think we have seen it from the
this-
perspective of everybody
From the
else.
senators.
those are Phase 2
from
clones.
Like, from the out.
Those
Yeah,
are
from the outside
So
people.
the Empire goes into the stage. So the
send the
Galactic
clip.
Republic used to have colors, names, all that. When it switched over to the Senate, I'm about to send it. When it switched over to the Senate and the Galactic Empire, clone troopers were told to take the color out of their armor, be more uniform, and they stopped going by their names. So there was that switch. And if you look at that faceplate, and all being attached in post, that is a clone trooper. That is not a stormtrooper.
Because the heads are higher, it's got the stripe on the back.
I saw
as
the side of
opposed
the
to
helmet.
more squat, flat.
Yeah. I saw the side of the helmet, and I was like, oh my goodness, that is a clone trooper. That is very cool. See, a bunch of these things that we're noticing in this trailer, it's very good at giving stuff away, but not everything away.
Yeah.
So I'm definitely way more excited now that I've kind of watched this and saw the clone troopers. I'm surprised there's not more hype around this. Like this is going to be just as good,
problem.
if not better than
People are just
Kenobi.
like, Andor. I'm like, no, this is going to be one of Star Wars' best series, I think, ever, because it looks gorgeous. And for me, once again, being into the art direction side of everything, the contrast between like the regular people like Cassian and all them and the Senate, the beautiful opulent places that Mon Mothma is in, like I was blown away by the very, very nice sets of the nice houses and the beautiful costumes. Like it's going to be absolutely gorgeous from all aspects. Cinematography looks stunning, art direction looks fantastic, and like I was talking about earlier when we were just talking before we started, none of this was filmed on volume stages. They did most all of this practical. I mean, I'm sure there's obviously still CG sequences. Like I saw one in the trailer that I was like, I believe that one's going to be mostly CG. But it is all either practical sets that have been built in a soundstage, or it is legitimate sets. Like you were talking about the mountains. There was a quote from Diego Luna a few weeks ago about how they actually took a day, like it took them a whole day to get a crew up to the top of a mountain. And he said it was absolutely terrifying, but it was absolutely gorgeous once they got to the top of the mountain and started shooting up there. So that will be really neat because I love the volume stage technology. I think it's incredible. I think it's a great alternative to green screens because it looks so much more natural. But it will be nice. And I really enjoy how many people are starting to go back to practical filming because I have missed the days of practical filming and the absolute like jaw-dropping nature of it. The fact that that can be done. I think
this is gonna look absolutely beautiful because in the last like 2 seconds of the trailer, you see Andor and a TIE fighter, and it just looks so good. And then you also see this, one, you see Mon Mothma on, I assume, Coruscant. So I think we're going to see more Coruscant. That'd be cool.
Yeah.
Maybe the Jedi Temple. We might get the Jedi Temple. And what happened. Awesome. And we're, of course, getting the Senate room.
That'd be really cool.
And, again, that empty Senate pod has got me guessing.
And also, I just realized, do we see who Mon Mothma is talking to in that screenshot that you sent? Does the camera turn around?
It does. I'll attach that. She is I'm still blown away by the fact that clone troopers are in this. I don't know how I missed that, but like the more you watch it, like I saw the side of
that
the
was one of the first things I heard people talk about that I've seen people talk about. Which once again, nobody's talking about it, but.
Exactly.
Yeah,
I'm like,
nothing.
Why have people not been talking about this?
Because they've gotten so obsessed with like Kenobi, and even though they complain about it, they want the same thing over and over again.
Yeah.
Andor is something completely different from what they've been doing, and so nobody's interested in it. People have gotten too complacent, and it's happened with Marvel too. Everybody's gotten too complacent with Marvel and Star Wars putting out the same things, and then they refuse to try anything else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like before we did this episode, which I'm glad we're doing it because before this I was like Andor, I don't know, it just doesn't seem that great. The teaser was just okay, but this official trailer shows so much. I mean, we got clone troopers.
I have been excited for Andor since it was announced. I've been more excited for Andor than Kenobi or Ahsoka or Mandalorian Season 3 because I just fell in love with Rogue One and with the character of Cassian Andor. Like, so hard, so fast. Absolutely fantastic character. They announced Andor. I was like, oh my word.
I don't know about
this
Ahsoka.
Is going to be fantastic.
I don't know about Ahsoka.
I think Ahsoka and Andor are about equal for me. The rest of them, I'm kind of like, I'm excited for it, but eh. But Ahsoka and Andor, I'm so pumped for. I'm so ready for. I can't wait to see what they pull off with them.
So that guy you're referring to, I attached a picture of it. That it does turn around. I can't tell that. Does that look like Bail Organa to y'all?
That's what I'm thinking it is. That's who I'm thinking
it's not.
It is.
It's a different actor. Different actor.
Okay. But it may be playing the character, though. You never
It
know.
is it's a different person.
Well, Bale would not be looking that old.
It's someone new. I've already like.
If
looked at
anything,
it
they should
and-
just
and-
get the same guy because he could pass. He could pass.
Jimmy
it.
Smits,
It-
yeah. Well, they
it's-
wouldn't
yeah.
be able to replace Bail Organa. Jimmy Smits is Bail Organa.
Yeah, that's someone. This is a new character entirely.
Yeah.
The person that Mon Mothma was talking to in that scene, it's a new
That's
person
another thing.
entirely.
I'm excited for all the new characters we're going to get with this one. Because don't get me wrong, the cameos have been fun. I've enjoyed the cameos. But this one, except for Andor and Mon Mothma and Saw Gerrera, the entire cast is brand new.
Yeah.
The
I
entire
like.
crew
also-
is brand new.
I like
It
how
also
they
begs the
handle
question-
cameos.
Are we gonna see K2?
K2SO.
No. Okay.
No,
So
I don't
I did
think
see
we
stuff
will.
about this. K2 is not in this season. K2 will more than likely be in the second season because Alan Tudyk, who played K2, confirmed that he is not in the first season. Now, honestly, after the whole Andrew Garfield, Tobey Maguire thing, I don't believe a word actors say anymore about whether or
Yeah.
not they're going to be in something. Because Liam Neeson also said he would not be in Kenobi, and we see how that went.
You can't start it
Yeah.
off by Qui-Gon be with me, and then in every single episode he go Qui-Gon be with me. You not show up
And
like
Qui-Gon's not there. Yeah, but I think
I
if
think
K2
fans would
does
have
show
raged.
up, it will be in the second season, which I am kind of disappointed about because K2SO is my favorite droid. I love him to death, and I'm not going to get to see him until the second season. So
He's your favorite droid.
yes, he is my favorite droid. And I
Not
do
even
care what you
BB-8?
say.
I
I know
think I'm a
R2 is a
little bit
classic. I
biased
know 3PO is a
because-
classic. I know BB-8's adorable. I like K2.
Yeah, well, here's the thing. The reason that I don't like K2SO as much is because he's the same model droid as those freaking security droids from Fallen Order.
Fallen
that are
Order.
just,
Yeah,
I
that'll make
hate
you
them.
not. That'll make you
I-
not like
yeah.
K2SO.
That will make you want to break your game disc in half. Like,
Yep.
just-
I love
I
K2SO.
hate those things.
I love him.
But
I think he's
that's
funny.
a little bit of a biased
I
opinion.
think that's
yeah,
why I like him. Is his
K2 is
personality is
hilarious.
just fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
They could not have picked a better person to play K2SO.
Yeah, he's really good at it. I'm just overall excited now. I want to see this. Like,
And speaking of actors, can we talk about Alexander Skarsgård showing up? That's who that
haven't-
is.
the guy that who are you referring to?
That calls him, that mentions his name the first time, Cassian Andor.
Yeah.
Yes.
Where he's like Cassian Andor.
That's one of the Skarsgårds. I believe it's Alexander. It's whoever was Bootstrap Bill and the scientist in Thor.
Ah,
It's whichever
yeah.
Skarsgård that is, because I know there's like 8 of them, and I can never remember who's who.
We do see there's this new character. So this new girl, which I'm about to
Yes.
attach it. That is one person I have a question about. Who is she, and what is going to be her purpose? Because from what we see,
And what is her relationship to Cassian?
yeah,
Because I don't know why, but I can already feel a very, very interesting dynamic there. Oh, not her. I wasn't thinking of her. Wait.
Oh, that's the new character's daughter, I think.
which new characters?
That looks like Billy Lord, which is funny. It's not Billy Lord. It can't be, but that looks like Billy Lord.
Which one were you referring to? I can get a picture of it.
The other one with the curly hair. She looks like she's a spy. One of the spies. You've
Oh
seen her a
yeah,
couple times.
yeah.
Honestly, from someone as a writer, what I think she could be is like a possible past love interest for Cassian, which explains why he's so distant with Jyn. Because there is very much a distance with Jyn of he doesn't want to get close to her until
Yeah.
the very end
Yeah.
of things. So I get the feeling she's going to be there. We're going to see her die some like terrible, awful death. And that will explain Cassian. And that's just coming from the little bit of writing knowledge that I have. Is
It gives me
this.
this. She gives me the same vibe as Jyn Erso. It gives me a Rogue One vibe. Like they're on that planet,
She's-
that whole battle scene. Yeah, it gives me that
she
vibe.
looks very much like Jyn Erso, which is why I think she could be like a potential past love interest that explains why he's so just very distant and touchy about Jyn.
Yeah. So I wonder what the main I wonder what this is gonna span, like what timeline this is gonna span over, and because all the Disney shows have an objective. Book of Boba Fett is to take back Tatooine. Kenobi is a bunch of different stuff, but mainly rescue Leia. They all have a theme and a main point that they tackle. So, what is going to be the main point of Andor? Is my question.
Yeah.
What I know they're going to fight the
don't
Empire, but who are they going to fight in the Empire?
I think
hadn't
it's the
thought
guy
about it
that
till
was
now.
hunting them. There's a guy that's hunting them. Because if you watch the teaser trailer, that one dude, forget what his name was, but he's going to be hunting them throughout the entire show.
What
From
is
what
his
we
name?
see.
Because there's another guy. Hang on just a second. There is another
The one where it's
guy.
like, the guy was talking to him and he's like, there's going to be like a formation or something. There's some weird, he says some weird word.
What does he look like?
Okay, Cyril is his name that I saw
Cyril.
something about the other day. He's the very, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, he's the very clean-shaven guy that you see that's just got this, like, really, like, intense look to him.
Yep.
And someone kind of broke down what his character is, and he's very much like... He's trying not to be a disappointment to his father, who was a very, like, strict, hard-ruling man who doesn't really love him or appreciate him. So he's trying to make his place in the Empire to prove himself, whereas Cassian is doing the exact same thing with his adoptive mother, but it's because she loves him and worries about him rather than, like, is expecting all this of him. So they've already said that their dynamic will be very, very interesting. So
Yeah. So here's the other thing I caught in the trailer, and this is speculation. This is like, I have 3 tiers for my speculations. I have my first tier, which is, again, that Senate seat. I know something's gonna be there. You don't just do that.
yeah.
And then I have tier
yeah.
2, which is like, this seems like it could happen, but it maybe could not. This is like a tier 3. This is like a wild out there guess. And that is that this little hallway scene where they're running all in white uniforms, maybe like a stormtrooper academy where he's trying to basically get in there and hijack stuff.
Yeah, infiltrate.
Yeah.
I think that's a pretty good bet. See, when you said tier 3, I thought of my tier 3. And this is obviously, like, the most thrown into the wind thing we could possibly get. But with Ahsoka coming up, and barely any news on Ahsoka, the Thrawn novels start right after the collapse of the Empire. He starts gaining power pretty quickly as the Empire starts up. So I'm sitting over here wondering, are we going to get a glimpse of him? Are we going to get a glimpse of him and Eli Vanto and Arenata Price and Yularen?
That's what I was gonna say, but I wasn't bold enough to say it. I was like,
It's a
"Are we
very
gonna
wild
get
throw," and
Thrawn?"
I didn't
I
think
think-
about it until I was watching the trailer today. I was like,
Because
you know?
that's kind of where I was going. I was like, who are they gonna fight? Thrawn? And I was like, no, I wouldn't
That's
dare.
That's on the same vein as, is Mace Windu going to show up in Kenobi?
Yeah.
it is, but honestly, I wouldn't put him past him. Mandalorian threw him in. Nobody was expecting Ahsoka to, lean up against that lady and go, "Where is Grand Admiral Thrawn?" Like, that one just came out of left field and just smacked everybody like, ooh,
Yeah.
wait a minute. What? We haven't talked about him in a while. So
Yeah, this
I
guy's new.
highly doubt it'll happen, but I can go ahead and tell you guys, if it does happen, you will hear me screaming from all the way over here in Central Florida. You will hear the noise and you will go, "Oh yeah, Thrawn's back. He's screaming. She's yelling. She's lost her marbles."
Yeah.
Any flash
that's-
of blue, I see the slightest flash of blue, I'm going to be like talking about it and gleaning on it for weeks. Like, that's him. I swear that's him.
And
Well,
see,
I'll-
there's a lot of that. So like, a lot of times it's very divided in the Star Wars community, but like people, I know this one YouTuber, Star Wars Theory. He's a very good YouTuber. He genuinely loves Star Wars, but people love to dog on him because he makes theories for fun. And people are like, you shouldn't be doing this, yada, yada, yada. But, like, there was he predicted. He was like, and this got him a lot of hate, but he knows how to take it. And I think he's a great guy, great YouTuber. He predicted, he was like, okay, so at the end of Mando, or like some point in Mando, you see someone walking up to Fennec Shand, and you see these lights, and you hear this sound, and that was Boba Fett, and people just went crazy. They're like, how could you say that? It's just a sound. He was right. That was Boba Fett.
Yes, I remember that when that happened, and we were all like...
Sometimes when we take deep shots into left field, they may be right sometimes.
They hit something sometimes.
So everybody, you heard it here first. Thrawn is in Andor, and if
Thrawn is in Andor, confirmed.
If I call it, Thrawn is in Andor, and he's played by Jason Isaacs. And I swear, if I call it right here, right now, on August 20th, I will feel like the most important person in the world.
This better blow up. If she gets this right, everyone listen to this 3 times.
We're recording this
Everybody come follow me
before it releases.
On both social medias, and let's just get the ball rolling.
Both, only two. Only two.
Only 2.
No more social medias than just the 2s.
I really just have 2 main ones.
No
and
more.
If I do get it right, Lucasfilm, call me.
Hit me up.
I'm always down for an art department position, so just let me know when you want me to start.
Yeah.
Or Marvel. I'll swing for.
Marvel's fine too. Marvel's fine too. Yeah.
Marvel
Christopher Nolan.
Okay.
If you just happen to run across this, call me.
Call me.
Charlie Chaplin. If you just happen to hear this,
just by any chance, just let me
from
know.
the
Just
grave.
Just call me up.
I think we're on to something though with that Senate scene. We're on to something, and
we've definitely got Bail, possibly Little Leia. I'll be so happy if Little Leia comes back.
Oh yes, I love Little Leia, but
she's so good.
You watch the breakdown, and usually New Rockstars hits it all. And the fact that no one's noticed that yet, or I haven't heard anyone noticing that.
Yeah, that's huge.
Yeah,
that
is interesting that nobody picked up on that. Because usually, especially after No Way Home, I think we all learned to look way too deep into trailers, which in a way has kind of ruined us. But in instances like this, it's like, wait a minute, why would that be empty? Yeah. Although my bet is, and y'all are going to hate me for this, but I'm like, is it actually someone, or is it a tribute to Padme? It very well could be simply just a tribute to Padme, like leaving a space open for her.
But why would they do that, though?
Because she was one of the best senators ever, and they loved her. The people loved her. She was a fantastic senator. So in honor of her, they leave something open.
Right
because if
after
this
her
lands in the time that we think it will, it would have been very close to, if not right after her death.
But do you think they would have had enough? Actually, I might contend on that one, because do you think they would have had enough time to? Because usually when you do a tribute to someone, it's like within a few weeks of when they die.
Oh yeah.
I don't think they're able to go in there and bust up the whole floor, change all the Senate pods to have the Empire logo on it. Like Palpatine planned ahead, but I don't think he planned that logistically ahead, because then people would realize something's up, all of a sudden you got
true. Palpatine is not an interior decorator by nature. So
actually,
if you look at his room in the Coruscant,
yes, it's all Sith.
That is true. It is a very well done room,
hidden in plain sight.
Maybe he is a decent interior decorator. I
do love also Count Dooku. I
love Dooku.
Awesome interior decorator.
Dooku's my favorite Sith.
We should make an episode just dedicated to who in Star Wars is the best interior designer.
Yeah, we need to do an art design episode. Because that's what you do.
I need to have an art in Star Wars episode that I can helm. Because, I can talk. I started thinking about it last night, right? Like Last Jedi, the use of red and green. Red and green are complementary colors. You always use complementary colors. There's so much red and so much green in that movie. And just the color psychology.
Christmas colors. Christmas.
Shh. Shut up. Shut up. Just shush.
Red and
Shush.
green are
Stop it.
Christmas colors.
No.
Nah.
No.
No. They're
We have
lightsaber
all
colors.
just-
No.
We have all accepted that as a society in general, that red and
No.
green are Christmas colors and nothing else.
Yeah, well.
Mm.
Now
anyways,
red and
yes.
blue. Red and blue. Now you're on to something.
They are, but they are tertiary colors.
Yeah.
They're not complementary. Complementary are the like boldest, and they catch your eye when you have two that are completely across the color wheel from one another.
Yeah.
I could spend a whole day talking about color.
Don't
I have
say
just
Christmas.
learned, like
Red and blue.
color theory. I have just now learned basic color theory and color psychology, and I cannot get it out of my head. Once you learn it, everything you look at, you're like, yep,
Yeah.
Yep.
yep.
Oh, a quick tidbit, by the way, while we're on the talking about color and design and all that. So, I'll find a way to send this so y'all can view this. Hold on, let me figure out a way to.
I think
this is
Obi-Wan
general.
Kenobi loses it for interior design, by the way. I think
Yeah, no,
Love
the
Obi-Wan.
man just lives in a cave
Yeah,
and just
he-
drops
yeah.
his stuff. None of the Jedi are good at interior design.
So I put this in general.
None of them.
So y'all might have to go to general, but for the
Uh,
viewers, our logo. I'm gonna break down our logo, by the way, while we're talking about color. So and
red, blue,
stuff like
yellow,
that.
and green.
So we have the command bridge, which is our name. Then behind that, if you take all of the helmets and the text away, that is the Galactic Navy's logo for
It
the
is!
Republic. Yeah.
How did I just now notice that?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And it's actually really hidden. So I made this all by scratch except for the helmets and the thing. But I put it together. We have 4 helmets because there's 4 of us, and then we have the command bridge text. So
Well, there's kind of 4 of us.
there's kind
There's
of
4
us.
of you that's like main, and then you drag me in whenever you need me.
Well,
Drag me out of bed
Yeah.
at 8 o'clock on a Saturday morning when I have nothing else to do all day, and then make me sit here for
Listen.
like hours on end.
Listen.
Did I
I-
choose this? Maybe.
Also, I also do not like waking up at 8 a.m.
yeah, but that's our
that is-
our dedicated recording time.
That's recording time.
Yep. And we enjoy it. We like getting up and
Yeah.
and doing these things for fun and getting to post them.
You like getting up. You. There is no we. Who is this we that we
me and
speak of?
me and Drew.
Because the me part of we was not very happy when her alarm went off at 8 a.m., okay?
Me and Drew enjoy getting. I mean, I don't enjoy getting up, but I enjoy making the content.
Yeah.
The me
This
part
is
of we rolled
definitely-
over and was like, am I sure I want to do this? Maybe.
Yeah, we need to start recording at 8 in the evening.
Oh, no, because then I start getting loopy and nothing I'm saying is going to make sense. Don't do that to me.
All right, back to Andor.
Yes. Sorry.
I just want to go
Another
over that
tangent.
logo. Yeah, that
Another
was our
tangent,
logo
but-
tangent. For all the people who didn't know,
We
the
were doing so
origin.
good.
Yeah.
We weren't getting on tangents.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And then that happened.
And then that happened. And then
we
you had
started
to start
talking
talking
about
about art.
Mhm.
God, throwing me off.
I love art.
well, now
Art's
that we're
fabulous.
full circle back,
Yeah.
so I think maybe again this is a tier 3. Anytime you hear that from now on, we're gonna have tiers for our theories. This is a tier
That's a
3
good idea.
theory,
This is
which
tier
is
3 theory.
so you know sometimes how serious or not serious we are being. The Thrawn coming in and being the main villain is like a tier 3
Don't
theory.
call him a villain.
Anti-hero.
He's not a villain, he's an anti-hero.
Thank you.
He's an anti-hero.
Get it
Thrawn
right.
coming in and
Dadgummit.
becoming the guy that may or may not do bad things sometimes on an occasional Sunday evening.
The guy that may or may not be screwing things up. We're not
It's
entirely
like your
sure
Uncle
yet.
Jerry's. Sometimes he
It's like
means to
your
screw
Uncle
things
Jerry.
up. Sometimes he doesn't.
And
Good old
sometimes
Uncle
he
Jerry.
live with
accidentally
malicious
glasses.
Exactly.
Sometimes he accidentally glasses planets, but that's okay.
Can I have a whole Thrawn rant day where I just like?
Yeah, we'll have. Actually,
terribly...
that's a good idea. It's coming up
Sure.
soon. We're gonna have a Thrawn episode. I think we can talk about Thrawn for a full episode.
Please call me.
Yeah. We'll plan that for soon. Whenever we record next.
We'll plan that for soon. Very specific there, Garrett. Very specific.
Yeah, we'll plan that for soon. We don't know with this.
Because, I have it.
We do not have a schedule.
I can tell.
When we're recording,
I can tell. You messaged
things.
me like what? Wednesday was like, hey. It was like last week. You're like, hey, do you want to wake up at a Saturday on 9 a.m. and do a podcast? Like, huh?
Sure.
What?
Yeah. So basically, these plans. Last night is when we decided that we were going to do this episode. So, but we're really good at talking and rambling, so it kind of works.
Once again, this is what happens when you put a bunch of nerds with attention issues in the same room and tell them to talk. We'll talk.
Yeah, we'll talk.
We talk.
Shut up.
Yeah, we'll talk your ears off, but you'll come away from this podcast knowing about 3 times more about Star Wars and every other thing on Earth than you did before.
Yes.
So,
I like telling stories. You like talking about art. Garrett likes
Star Wars
lore.
Star Wars. Garrett like
general
Star Wars.
deep lore. Yeah.
Yeah. So, overall, I think that tier 3 theory it's out there, but I think it could happen.
It's a solid theory.
I thought about it.
It is a solid theory. Good to know I wasn't the only one, because I was like, this could be crazy. But once you started going into, you were like, yeah, I've got a tier 3 theory. I was like, I got one. Let me go.
Yeah. That would be my tier 3. My tier 2 would maybe be, I can't really think, because it's either like confirmed or not confirmed, but my tier 2, like maybe not, would be we see a little bit of more Galactic Republic stuff than maybe just the Clone Wars. Tier 2 would probably be Palpatine, seeing Palpatine. That would probably be tier 2. And my tier 1,
we have those.
My tier 1
have the Senate.
Is Clone Wars, or the clones. That's like kind of a tier 0 because we know it's happening. But tier 1, clones, empty Senate seat. No, I know something's going up there.
Something's going on there.
And then some other tier 1 stuff. My tier 3 would probably be Cal Kestis on that scrapyard because it's kind of almost been debunked. It kind of has been debunked, but it still could happen.
I feel like he could still show up because isn't he? I'm not familiar with Fallen Order all that much, but isn't he like very much on the run and hiding out?
Yeah.
Because
but he's also on Braca.
I'm sure there's a possibility he could end up showing up for a glimpse, at least a few seconds, possibly a mention. That's my thing is I feel like we might get a few like really juicy name drops. Like if we don't see Thrawn and Eli Vanto, I have a feeling that we're going to get a name drop of either him or Eli, which would be equally as exciting.
Amazing. Yeah.
I think we get a name drop of Thrawn.
Eli Vanto is... anytime we kind of refer to Thrawn, we are talking about the book series, specifically Thrawn Ascendancy, I think is where Eli Vanto comes into play.
No, he comes in the canon trilogy. He's in the original canon trilogy. He's not in Ascendancy.
You talking about the first books,
Thrawn Alliances and Thrawn Treason are the 3 I'm thinking of. That's where you see Eli Vanto. He shows up in the original canon Thrawn book.
There's so many Thrawn books out there, guys. But just know, when we talk about Thrawn, it's usually the books. The Ascendancy.
Too many books, not enough live appearances. We need more Thrawn.
Exactly. So that's kind of what we're
hoping.
hoping.
My menacing blue man.
Yeah.
Governor Price is the one over Lothal?
Yes.
That she is so annoying in the books because I first encountered her in the books and I was like, oh, cool. Awesome female character, girl boss. And then the more it went on, I was like, I absolutely hate her. She's a terrible human being. Can somebody please kill her already? And then in Rebels, I was like, oh, I hate her even more. Her haircut's terrible.
Bruh. Exactly.
Her haircut is the ugliest thing on earth, which if I saw that ugly haircut in Andor, I would freak out. And then be angry that they included her, but I would freak out.
Yeah. Do you... Wait, do we have a chance of maybe this is a tier 3 coming in here, guys, so be ready. Do we see any of the rebels in Andor? No,
Yes.
we wouldn't, because that's Rebels is after Empire.
No,
Andor's before,
Rebels is
right?
before A New Hope.
Yeah, the rebellion exists.
Oh yeah, because
Rebels-
it backs into A New Hope.
The Ghost.
Do we see the freaking what's her name? Hera.
Hera?
We could see
Hera
Kanan.
Syndulla.
We could at least get it. Oh my
Wait,
gosh.
no.
Kanan.
Wasn't she mentioned? Where was she mentioned? Captain Syndulla.
She's mentioned in Rogue One. She's
Yes!
mentioned in Rogue One.
She's mentioned in Rogue One.
Oh my gosh, that has moved up to a tier 2 theory, guys.
She's also
We might
mentioned in the
see-
hit video game Star Wars Squadrons.
We might
Yes.
see
And she also
Syndulla.
appears in it. Yeah.
We
Oh,
might
that
see
is a
Hera.
very- That's a very far
And
pull.
Cham
but,
Syndulla,
ooh,
right?
That would be cool. And
That is
well,
a far pull.
and we could see Sabine as well
Sabine.
because she has already been casted for Ahsoka.
Mm-hmm.
But she was announced as casting for Ahsoka a year ago, which with the way
Yeah.
the TV shows process and film, I think they did reshoots for Andor about a year ago. And
So
they didn't
may-
start shooting
they may put
Ahsoka
her
until
in.
this year.
Yeah.
She may be in it.
And then maybe put Kanan in there. That would be nice.
Kanan would be
Um,
very nice.
Kanan would also be.
But I
very
think
cool.
if anyone comes in, it'll be Hera Syndulla. Because she's
Pre-
been mentioned.
Hera,
pre or post
possibly a name drop of
blindness.
Thrawn or Arenata Price. Honestly, I think we have a good chance of seeing Price.
If we
because
see
she was a
Kanan, though,
senator.
if we see Kanan, is this pre or post blindness?
I think pre.
This would be, I think it would be pre-blindness.
And if we see him in general, do we see him after he's dead? Do we see the ghost crew after?
No.
No, because I
No,
think
because
it
it-
all lands before, like
Yeah.
way before.
So Andor is before Rogue One, I assume, and well, yeah,
Yeah.
it is because he dies. And
Don't
remind
me.
He does indeed die.
Obi-Wan
Yes, it makes me very sad.
Rebels backs like the scene. I can't remember if it was this episode or last episode. I was talking about the scene where Obi-Wan rides by Luke's house, and that backs directly into Episode 4, I assume. And it backs directly into Episode 4. So yes, Kanan would not be blind, and I think it would be before
All right, here
he
we go.
dies.
I had to consult Google. So, Nerdist. Let's see what Nerdist has. So, Andor takes place 5 years before A New Hope. That's right. So, the first season of Andor is covering, like, child Andor up to, like, 2 or 3 years before. Second season covers the last bit of it. So, it starts 5 years before A New Hope. Rebels begins 5 years before the Battle of Yavin. They are on the exact same timeline.
That's actually a tier 2 theory right there. That's a good. I would be
that
pressed
is
to say that
solid.
Harrison Dula will show up.
I think it's entirely possible.
I
think it is entirely possible.
I'm rewatching the scene from Rebels because I want to.
Or from Rogue One, where she mentioned.
No, the scene where Obi-Wan rides up to Luke.
Actually, if you really think about it, we could see Obi-Wan Kenobi, seeing how he is still alive and exists in the Star Wars universe.
In all reality,
That's more of a joke. There's no way he shows up.
Okay.
I mean, they could milk this Kenobi thing, but I'm not
they
entirely
really
sure
could, and
they
it would
will.
make me
And
kind of angry because I know darn well that everybody would focus on Kenobi and just completely ignore Cassian and his story. But,
It would
you know.
not make me angry. I would be happy. More Obi-Wan Kenobi, please. More
The
So
more
I
Ewan
think-
space
McGregor.
Jesus, the
More,
better.
More of him. More.
Okay, so I think from what I can tell, Luke looks a little young, but it's that he goes out there, looks at the twin sunset, and it is that clip from A New Hope. Like I know it when I
Yeah.
hear it. It's
Oh, yeah.
Aunt Beru yelling Luke, but he runs. Luke doesn't run when Aunt Beru calls his name, and he
Yeah,
looks a
cut
little
it.
short. He looks a little short, so I'm not always sure as to whether or not that is
That's New Hope
Adult
Luke or younger Luke.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, definitely where Rebels is 5 BBY and Andor is 5 BBY. Like, well, no, Andor is 5 years before Rogue One, but Rogue One is the same
Is
year as Battle of
BBY,
Yavin. It all
yeah.
happens in Rogue One and A New Hope all happen in the span of like maybe 5 days, which is crazy to think about.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think
Yeah.
it's
So
plausible.
I think that's
I think
definitely
it's entirely
possible.
plausible and very interesting to think about.
So I would probably move that into the tier 2 for Rebels, tier 2 or tier 1. Okay, well, tier 1's like
I'm thinking tier
certainty.
2.
I would say tier 2. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's funny how only now, when we're an hour in, we finally realize that the Rebels could totally show up.
I
Which
know
would
it
be
took us that
amazing.
long, and the fact that I haven't thought about that before.
Yeah, like that's is hinted to so many times. Like they literally
I
talk
know.
about Captain Syndulla, and I was like, why in the world would she not be in?
Yeah, why would you
Um,
not, you know?
Yeah. So, uh, I think we got a pretty good coverage of the entirety of Andor, and we may be doing a kind of like a breakdown sort of thing sometime whenever we have time, or if we have time, over on YouTube. But Holden, if you want to go ahead and do an outro.
Hi, thank you for checking out the Command Bridge. We will see y'all next time.